Hey everyone, Wags here from Eagle Dynamics. In a future DCS World update, we'll be adding the high-speed anti-radiation missile or HARM for the F-16. This missile homes in on the radar emissions of air defense radars and is an important tool in suppression of enemy air defenses or SEAD role. We'll first release it in HARM sensor or HAS mode, and we'll later add position and HAD/HTS modes. For HAS, it uses the sensor in the nose of the missile to detect and track detected radars that are in one of the three threat tables. Once the threat is handed off to the missile and the missile is launched, it will fly directly to the target with no range data. As such, it has more limited range than other modes. The F-16 can only carry 2 HARMs, so make them count. Let's get started. Okay, so before we jump into the mission, let's take a look at some of the controls we're going to be using. So we have selected the F-16C sim. In the category, let's first go to Axes commands. And to slew the cursor, we're going to be using the radar cursor switch X-axis and radar cursor switch Y-axis. And then to the HOTAS category, the big ones are going to be the display management switch down, left, right, and up. You'll hear me refer to this as DMIS. And then coming down, we have the target management switch for down, left, right, and up. And you'll hear me refer to this as TMIS. Okay, let's take a look at this in the mission. Alrighty, so let's take a look at using the HARM and HAS mode in the Viper. First thing we'll do is we'll go to air-to-ground mode. And because we only have HARMs loaded as our air-to-ground weapon, it automatically is brought up on the stores management system. We see again we're in air-to-ground mode. In inventory, we can see what's on the jet. We have 2 AGM-88s. We'll go ahead and power these on manually. And we can see we have HARMs on Station 3 and Station 7. The box around the 3 indicates that that station is in priority. But if we want, we can switch that to Station 7 by pressing the missile step button on the control stick. Let's take a look at the HSD, and we can see that our targets for the day are an SA-11 site on greater 2 milen and an SA-15 on lesser 2 milen. On the left side, let's bring up the weapon page for the HARM and HAS mode. And we'll go DMIS F short to make this soy. And there's a bit to talk about here, so let's go ahead and pause this for a minute. Now, the first thing to understand about the HARM and HAS mode is that it's not exactly the brightest bulb in the pack, in that it can only detect up to 5 different radar types at once, but you can have up to 3 tables. So each table having up to 5 radars, you can actually, in your program, up to 15 radars possibly to search. So in this case, in table 1, I have a combination of SA-10 and SA-11 radars. The first top 3 are SA-10, the bottom 3 are SA-11. But to table 2, I can either press the OSB or I can go TMIS left short. And here we have more shorter range systems like SA-19 or a 2S6, an SA-15, an SA-8, so on. And we go to the third table now. We have older systems like an SA-3, an SA-6, and an SA-2. But let's say you're going to fly a mission and you're only worried about 2 different types of radar, but by default they're on 2 different tables, but you want them on a single table. So you are in luck. So you can actually go to the DED and the ICP to make your own tables. So we can go to List, Miscellaneous 0, HARM 0, and here we have your tables, in each table with the 5 different radar types. But you note that they're actually different codes rather than something like 3S62. What I'll do is in the text of the description, I'll list the codes for you. So using these codes and the DED capability, you can actually go ahead and program your own tables to suit your mission. Stop back out of that. Now, when the HARM is in HAS mode, its sole search is focused on the bore side of where that missile is pointed. So anything on display, which would be within the red dashed area here, on the right side would be off to the right of the bore side of that missile, and so on. And when the missile is in search mode, it's not the most efficient by default. It's going to search for every radar in the table based on the search pattern. So in this case, by default, it's going to be searching for 5 different radars in a wide area. And if we do the reset search, the RS button, we can see it's going to take 1 minute and 30 seconds to complete one complete search. So 90 seconds is quite a long time. But we can actually pare that down pretty quickly. By going first to the search function here, we can remove radars that we're not interested in searching for. So in this case, let's go get rid of all but 2 and come back, restart it again, and now we're down to just 35 seconds. Next, right now we're in a wide search, so if you don't have a really good idea where that radar is, wide's a good idea. But if you have a good raw hit or good intelligence, you could go to a center scan. And it's just going to be searching for the very center of the cross here for targets. And we restart it again, we're down to just 8 seconds, so much better. Let's go back to table 1 for the SA-11. And let's get rid of those SA-10 radars we're not going to need. Come back. We're in a center scan. The SCT value, right now it's 13. That indicates that the search has been restarted 13 times, whether it's a completed pattern or me changing tables or so on. And we have first contact now. We have SDA. That indicates snowdrift in active mode, A for active. If it's a T after it, it means that it is in tracking mode, and there's a good chance there's a missile on the way, or there will be shortly. We can display up to 10 different emitters within the box, but if it's up to 10, only 2 of those can be of the same radar type. And also, when you have a SAM site with multiple radars, they'll be overlapping initially, but the radar in priority, which will generally be the engagement radar, will take precedence, and the other ones will disappear to give you a clean look at the engagement radar. To lock up a radar, we'll be using the slew cursor here. We just place it over the emitter and go T forward short to hand it off to do the harm for engagement. At this point, I think we can go ahead and unpause. And up on the HUD, we can see that we have harm, the status box of the missile shot. We also have a box here on the weapon page indicating the current radar types being detected. Right now, just a snowdrift out there. Okay, 11 has popped up on the raw gear. And you see some overlapping there, and the snowdrift went away. Now we just have an 11 in active mode. We're going to wait for transition to a tracking mode. And I placed a cursor over it. Okay, went to T. T was forward short, and Magnum. That's why it's a good idea to have the HSD to give you a better situational awareness where that SAM site is, as well as your raw gear, of course. At this point, let's go ahead and change it to the table 2 with the SA-15. Let's get rid of the radars we don't need. Go to a center scan. So now we're set up for the SA-15 attack. Okay, let's pitch back in. Okay, SA-11 is offline. Got the 15 here. Let's go ahead, lock them up now. Magnum.
Cap flare.
And now the SA-15 is offline. So, 2 shots, 2 hits. So folks, this is a overview of using the Harriman HAS mode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you next time. Thanks.